everybody! Okay, so the camera's a little bit shaky because I'm filming on 3 pillows. I'm sorry. So this video is exactly what the title says, how I quit smoking. I never thought I would have to film this video because I never thought I would actually be able to quit. People who are active smokers know how hard it is to quit cigarettes. Not only is it because it's just so socially acceptable, so accessible, but even just the habit of it. Not even being addicted to the nicotine, but the habit of it, which I will talk about in this whole video. I just want to say that I don't have anything planned, so if you're expecting tips to help you out, I don't have a list of tips to help you out. I'm just going to go through my experience and where I begun with smoking and where I am now. How I begun smoking, I was in middle school, and I'm not going to say which age because I don't want you guys to feel like if you're that age, you should be able to try smoking, or it's okay to try smoking, because smoking is a filthy habit. And I'm so sorry to anyone who's offended by that, but it absolutely is a filthy habit. And I was young and I was very impressionable, and I was smoking because I was hanging out with older kids and they were smoking as well too, so they were the ones who were passing me the cigarettes. And it just became kind of a habit, but I never bought a smoke for myself. And when I left school, I ended up smoking casually during work, which ended up me being more addicted to the nicotine and the habit, so I ended up buying my own packs. So the whole time I was in Taiwan after I left school, I was constantly smoking cigarettes. All my friends were smoking cigarettes, and I didn't consider it a problem, because it was just cigarettes, and I've done so many worse things at the time. Like, I was a really rebellious kid at the time, so I didn't think of it as like a bad thing. And that's the problem. People can't stop smoking because they don't realize that it's a bad thing, or that it's as bad as they think it is. And I'm not saying that people who smoke cigarettes don't know the issues of smoking cigarettes. They just don't have the will to quit because they don't believe that maybe their health is as important. And I understand it certainly is a coping mechanism, and I took it and I use smoking as a coping mechanism. I especially attach my emotions to cigarette smoking, so when I was upset, I would smoke a cigarette. Like, when you think about it, you watch movies, and someone's having a shitty day, what are they doing? They're smoking a cigarette. So people think that it's okay that when you're sad to depend on a cigarette, or it's okay to fall down on your addiction because you're sad, and so it's okay to smoke, which I completely disagree with. And to my friends who are watching this video and who actually are smoking, I just want to put out there that I'm always going to be here for you. I'm not judging you. I don't think you're a bad person for smoking. Never in the world will I think a person is a bad person for smoking cigarettes. All I want to say is that I'm here to help you, and if you need support, I'm going to be here for you. And that goes for the rest of you guys as well. Anyways, I moved to Australia, and cigarette prices are so expensive here. You know how people always want what they can't have, or when something is harder to get, they want it more? I think that's what happened to me here. My addiction to smoking increased incredibly when I became independent here. One, because I didn't need to smoke when my parents were sleeping, and I could just smoke whenever I felt like it, so I didn't control myself to have a limited amount. I was going through like a lot of rough times here, so I was smoking a lot of cigarettes, and cigarettes are dramatically cheaper in Taiwan than they are here in Australia, and that's why I felt guilty every time I bought a cigarette packet. I would have that one smoke to feed my craving, and then I have the other 19 cigarettes that I didn't want or didn't need. My addiction with smoking, which I have to talk about before I even explain quitting, I was addicted more or less to the motions, the mentality of smoking. Going outside and just taking a breath of fresh air, but not really, because I was smoking a cigarette. But that was my reasoning to go outside, to smoke a cigarette, to take a break. It was just kind of like, you know how in the day you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Having a smoking break was as equivalent to those to me as eating, you know. And not only was I suffering earlier in my journey with a lot of eating disorders, and I was always taught as a kid before I even tried cigarettes that smoking decreases your appetite, which I never experienced throughout while I was smoking. My appetite never decreased, and now that I quit smoking, my appetite hasn't increased, so I don't have those correlations, but I'm not saying that those statistics aren't true. However, people I lived with in my old house were smoking, and Darren was smoking as well too, so my boyfriend, and that time I realized I didn't want to be in a relationship with someone who could see so clearly my addiction. I didn't mind my friends seeing me smoking because they were smoking too, and they didn't see what I was doing at home. They didn't see how much I was smoking at home. And I was ashamed to smoke alone because I felt bad that I was harming my body, not for a social, reason, and I felt terrible. Me and Dan never bought a packet as individuals. We'd have one to share, and if we bought a packet of 20, then he would have 10 and I would have 10, but whenever we smoked, we would never have our own cigarettes. He would have one, and he would pass it to me, and we'd share it between us two. And the reason for this was, one, to cut down smoking, and two, because we were together, and I guess it's easier to just share one and then get the satisfaction of half a cigarette in you instead of have a whole cigarette. And then me and him had a little bit competitions. Like, there would be 25 cigarettes when we get a 25 pack, and it would be, 12 and 12 each, but there'd be one left, so it would be like, whoever takes that last one buys the other person, lunch or something. And I didn't want to take the last one. I became so competitive with it that I would leave 3 of my cigarettes, and just so that I could be ahead, I guess. That kind of motivated me to stop because I was like, clearly I knew that my boyfriend wanted to stop, and I knew some of my friends wanted to stop, but they weren't. A lot of my friends want to stop, and they weren't able to. Throughout 2016, so the whole of last year, I spent multiple weeks not smoking, within 2 weeks, because I was trying to quit. And then I'd fall back down again, and then I'd smoke as much as I did before, and then after 3 months, for 2 weeks, I wouldn't smoke. And all my friends were always like, oh, so you quit again. And I'm like, yeah, I quit again, and then after 2 weeks, I continued smoking. And then I realized my place in my friendship group, and I was like, actually, I want to be the one that when people want to quit, they can look and say, Anna quit like that when she said that she wanted to quit, even though there were many times that I said I wanted to quit and didn't end up doing it. But the fact is, I've quit, and so that means I'm ahead. And that's why I want all my friends to look at me and be like, wow, Anna's had a big addiction to cigarettes, as many of us all have, and she's been able to stop it. And within the past 9 months, I've managed to become a vegetarian, so cut out meats. I've managed to cut out cigarettes less and less it's been 2.5 months that I haven't been actively smoking addictively, as in I've had a cigarette or shared a cigarette with someone once every 2 weeks, which is very, very rare. It's only a social situation. I'll never smoke it by myself, and I feel confident in myself that I'm not going to fall back into this addiction. I just quit eating meat, and that was challenging, but things started to get very, very gentle in my life. I just came back from Canberra. All my friends were happy. My boyfriend was happy. Everything was starting to get fine, and I wanted to challenge myself. That's all I try to say to my friends when they're like, how did you try to quit smoking? I say, well, I wanted to challenge myself. My life was too easy, and even though, people can look at me and be like, your life isn't easy, you have this going on, this going on, this going on. But that time when I quit smoking, I was like, my life is going easy. It's time to step it up. Let's make it a little bit harder. Let's make my days a little bit challenging. But I knew that I did it because I wanted to become strong. And it's just kind of like when people exercise and they're in so much pain, they keep exercising because they know it's going to make them strong. And that's what I was trying to do with all these things in my life. I wanted something to challenge me, to make me feel better, make me feel happier, and make me feel healthier. And quitting smoking, although it was the hardest addiction to ever get through, it actually really makes me feel happy. Let me continue on and what helped me stop smoking. So I started exercising and stretching. Every night I stretch, and every night I see myself become more flexible, and I'm seeing my body change the way I want it to. So I'm more flexible, more active, and it made me feel bad that when I was smoking a cigarette, I was putting all my exercise, hard works, and eating habits aside. So I was eating healthy, plant-based diet. I was exercising, I was stretching, I was meditating, I'm reading, I play guitar. This is like a daily routine of mine. And then I would just take a shit on all my hard work by just smoking cigarettes because they're just so bad for your lungs. As a girl, they make your boobs smaller. Now that I quit smoking, even though my boobs are still really, really small, they're so much bigger than what they were when I was smoking. And that's what I want to say to you guys. If you start smoking at a young age like I did, your boobs won't grow. So, to girls, a big reason for you to not start smoking at a young age is let your boobs grow, okay? Also, another thing that can help you guys, and I'm just gonna put the sponsorship in, herbal cigarettes. So, they look like this. They're just like that. And this was actually from a sunflower of mine, and she started up this company, and it has this blend of mugwort, coltsfoot, and mullein. So it's called Garden Fairy Co. And I absolutely one of my favorite sponsorships, no joke. And I will talk about this product before I even continue on about this video, just because I feel like this video is going to be so long and I want to make sure you guys have a chance to actually see these. I would have to say that I got these blend of herbal cigarettes after I quit smoking, so I didn't actually use these to help me quit smoking. However, I think they can help you quit smoking because for me, when I was trying to quit smoking, I would sometimes have like those little shisha pens. Even back then when I was in Taiwan and I was trying to quit, I would roll myself like cigarettes out of tea bags just to get the craving out of the way. Because it honestly isn't the nicotine you're addicted to, it's just the habit of putting smoke into your lungs. And when I was in Taiwan, I actually had mugwort, and mugwort's just this type of like herb, and you smoke it, it gives you lucid, vivid dreams, and it just makes your dreams like you're more aware of your dreams. And so I was smoking mugwort in Taiwan. So the second I heard from this sunflower that she started this company with a mix of herbs inside a cigarette, and I found out it was mugwort, I was so down to try it. And so what I've been doing with these smokes, even though like I don't smoke them to get over smoking because I've already gone over smoking, but me and my boyfriend, we'll smoke it 30 or like 45 minutes before we sleep, that as advised. So the first night me and him tried it, I had just the longest dream ever. I've never had a dream that I can remember the start and I can also remember that towards the end. It was just such a long dream. It wasn't a very particular like crazy dream. It was like a regular life dream, like what happens on an everyday life, but it was just so noticeably like I was just so conscious, aware, and I was lucid dreaming. 2 days after that, I smoked another one before I went to bed, and I had the same dream from the first night, but it was like, it just continued on from that. Like, it wasn't like the exact same dream, but it was that dream, but it continued on. 2 days later, I just smoked half of one because I couldn't finish one whole one to myself, and I had the same dream, but continued on that night, and it was a little bit weird. I smoked some a little bit last night, and I didn't have exactly the same dream, but I had a really, really nice dream. Like, I woke up happy. That's the thing about it, I woke up happy, and that's why I really love these smokes. I've only smoked 2.5 of these within the 2 weeks or week and a half I've gotten them, but I really like them. Dan has had dreams with them as well too, so it's not just me. I really love this product. I'll put the website name on my face and also in the description if you want to check them out. And it's only like $10 or $11 a packet. These are just some of the mixes. They have definitely different colors and all this stuff. And the packaging was adorable. Like, there's just like confetti and oh fuck, there's confetti on it and everything. And they come with like little pieces of paper so you actually know. So, Four Winds Blend is a non-tobacco, chemical, and toxin-free, and is made completely of natural and organic herbs. Mugwort, mullein, and coltsfoot. Has been used by shamans and tribes for ages for their respiratory clearing properties as well as their aid in transformative and visionary work. So mugwort, which I just talked about, to provide vivid, colorful dreams that you'll remember, helps with anxiety and protection from evil spirits. Coltsfoot to clear the respiratory system, a part of the daisy family, and has been used to treat cough and sore throats. And mullein to calm feelings and fight anxiety. There are no chemicals in this blend, so it will burn faster than a cigarette. And there's also this disclaimer that says these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. I've provided known facts that have been handed down for generations from experience. This product is not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. This product has worked for me. I especially agree with the mugwort side saying that it helps you have colorful dreams. However, with the Coltsfoot, it says to clear the respiratory system. I might not understand how it can clear the respiratory system. This obviously isn't evaluated by the FDA. So I also want to just tell you guys to be careful when you're shopping, but I can say from my experience, I have enjoyed these so much, and I would not promote anything that I think would cause you guys harm. And here's like another tip, okay? I've been peer pressured to smoke as well too. Like the reasons I started smoking, I was peer pressured into it. If you're like around the room and everybody's smoking and it's just like, oh no, like I should get a cigarette out too, just get one of these. Like, just get one of these and just smoke one of these. It won't put you to sleep, but if you do sleep, like, you'll get some wacky dreams. Thank you so much, Darby, for these. I'm so glad that I've quit smoking, and in my opinion, I feel like weed should be legal and tobacco and nicotine should not. Tobacco has killed way more people than weed. There has been no direct cause of death from weed that has been recorded. The only time I've heard of someone dying from weed was when a truck full of weed was open and fell on a guy and he died. I think that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but that's not even a direct way. The only reason why I found it so hard to quit cigarettes is because I wanted to combat my cigarette addiction by smoking joints. But the problem is that I actually couldn't go out in public and smoke joints without feeling anxious that someone would say, you shouldn't be smoking that. However, it just didn't feel socially acceptable to smoke weed. I felt like if a crackhead was nearby, which there are a lot here in Perth, they would ask me for more weed or something, so I just didn't feel safe. And that's the only problem why I think cigarettes are such a big addiction, because it's so socially acceptable. Like, even on Tumblr, there's like pretty girls like smoking cigarettes. Don't get me wrong, when I had a Tumblr and when I was smoking cigarettes, I took nice photos of like my henna with cigarettes, or like of my rings and my nails with cigarettes. I understand, but I don't believe that cigarettes are healthy for people. It's killing so many people. I think the tobacco companies are just money hungry, and if they knew how much harm, actually they probably do know how much harm they're causing their people. It's crazy. I don't want to support a company that can easily sell this tobacco to people and be okay with it. Like, I would, if I had a company that was making even millions, but it was causing harm to the people in my community, I wouldn't go with it. Problem here in Australia, and maybe not a problem, it could be a good thing, is that cigarette prices are rising. They're going up and up and up, and I remember when I was smoking cigarettes, when I would go out to the city and I'd pull out a cigarette, one crackhead would come up to me and be like, can I have a smoke? Some random homeless lady would come up to me, can I have a smoke? Blah, blah, blah. I'm a nice person. I can't really say no. But I know that some people have gotten really pissed at me and my friends for saying, no, I'm sorry, we don't have any cigarettes, or like, we only have one left and all that stuff. And they've gotten really pissed at us. And I've seen people in the city go through fights over someone not letting them have a cigarette. So, as the prices of cigarettes going up, that means the homeless people, or the people purchasing these cigarettes but don't have enough money, when they go out on the streets and they see someone with a smoke, I feel like it's going to be like a world war. There's going to be a riot. There's going to be people be like, oh my god, I want to have that smoke because now they're $40 a pack or something, you know, whatever it is. I think the Australian government has to figure out how to balance this, and like, so that when the cigarette prices go up, you know, the underground markets are going to go up as well, the crime rates might go up as well, and it's just like hard to juggle all this stuff. And at that point when I realized that cigarette prices were going up, I was like, I don't want to be another rat. You know, I don't want to be a rat where they just keep making us addicted to these products, raising the prices, and then us having to go buy them again. And the main reason why I quit cigarettes the day I said, you know what, I don't want any cigarettes, was because my baby tofu guinea pig died. And it was a sign to me because Tofu, my little baby guinea pig, died, and I realized how fragile life is. And I made that connection because I've been trying to quit smoking before that for a year. And I remember I was on a beach in a different country a year before that, and I was crying to someone saying, I'm tired of smoking cigarettes. I'm tired of being a slave to this addiction. I'm tired of always craving them. I'm tired of waking up and feeling like I need one. I'm tired of feeling like I need a cigarette when I watch someone on TV have a cigarette, and I was crying about it. I'm tired of this. And it took me a whole year to quit cigarettes. But when I was on that beach, I was actually on psychedelics. And after Tofu died, that week I didn't have a cigarette. That weekend we went on psychedelics and we were on the beach. And I had a moment of reflection and I was thinking, last year I was on a beach on the same psychedelic in another country crying to someone that I want to quit cigarettes. And now I'm on this beach and I am fucking blessed that I am not crying about the same issue because I have quit cigarettes. Even then, it was only a week I quit. I was so happy that I was on a beach having this reflection on the same psychedelic saying, you know what, I'm not in the same spot as I was last year because now I'm not a slave to this addiction. And fucking congratulations to everyone who's cutting out smokes, cutting out tobacco and nicotine. I am so proud of you guys because I see people around me in my life try to quit cigarettes. And it's not easy. It seems very hard. It looks very hard. It is very hard. The amount of times I've been just so moody because I didn't have a cigarette, and then I realized, why is my mood reflecting because of my cigarette addiction? This is stupid. I am in control of my emotions. I am in control of the things I take. I am tired of this being just one of the addictions I have. And now I'm glad that it's not. And I'm not saying that I'll never have a cigarette again, but I can say that I will never be addicted to cigarettes again. Ever. So, thank you guys so much for supporting me. Within these last 9 months, like I've said, so many changes have happened in my life, and it is absolutely amazing that you guys have been here to support me through everything. And I've waited these 2.5, 3 months to say to you guys that, hey guys, I fucking quit. I'm done. I'm done with this addiction. You guys have seen me in past videos smoking. You've seen in past videos collages of me smoking. That is not something you guys will see again. You guys might see a joint in my hand. You guys might see psychedelics in my mouth. But you will not see a cigarette because I am not a slave to the government. I just want to push you guys into quitting cigarettes because there are many ways to do it. One quick tip before I end this video, because I've been filming for 31 minutes, is that when I try to quit, every time I had a craving for a cigarette, I would wash my hands. And by the time I'm done washing my hands, I would have already forgotten about my cigarette addiction or whatnot. It has been really hard quitting cigarettes considering that my friends around me are smoking and that even my boyfriend still smokes a little bit. But I think the hardest part about it is that when I quit cigarettes, I stayed at home by myself for 2 weeks. I became a hermit. And the reason for that was because I knew if I was going to go see my friends, they were going to smoke and I was going to feel the need to take it. And that's why I kind of became a hermit, because I just wanted to get away from this addiction. And I realized that missing out on social things didn't matter to me because my own health, my own being was more important. And that's why I just want to kind of remind you guys that if you love yourself, if you care for yourself, if you give yourself, if you show yourself that you love yourself, you gotta quit these addictions. And I'm just gonna wish you guys the best of luck. The link I suggest today is to this herbal company. Please, if you are young and your parents won't be cool with you smoking herbal cigarettes, because my parents, when I was in Taiwan, weren't okay with me smoking herbs. mugwort. They weren't okay with me doing that, even though I was telling them all the benefits about it, how shamans have used it. They did not understand why I was smoking these herbs. So if you think that your parents aren't going to be cool with this, then don't even bother. Everything's running out of battery, like my laptop and everything's running out of battery, so I gotta go now. I'll put some things in if I need to insert anything, but I'm gonna wish you guys so much luck with your journey, with quitting any addiction it is. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments before. If you want to see more of these videos, do subscribe if you haven't already. If you want a video about how to get over, like, any type of addiction, like an eating disorder, if you're addicted to hurting yourself, or whatever, if you want me to make any of these videos, please leave a comment, and the top one I will do. So how to get over blah blah, blah addiction. Even if I haven't gone through it myself, I will do research for you guys, and I will come back to you guys with that video. Love you guys so much. Please stay safe. Please stay healthy.